What if I told you that everything you've built over a lifetime, your home, your savings, your sense of security, could quietly disappear, not because of a big scam or a dramatic mistake, but because of small decisions, made every day, without realizing the risk? You might be locking your front door each night, but are your finances just as protected? This isn't about fear, it's about awareness. Stick with me because what you learn here might just save everything you care about. Retirement is supposed to be the reward, the time when you finally get to breathe and enjoy life. But here's the thing most people don't talk about. It's also a time when you're more vulnerable. Not because you're weak, but because the systems around you can be confusing, outdated, or even predatory. You've worked hard for what you have, decades of effort, sleepless nights, sacrifices for your family. So now, more than ever, you deserve to protect it. In this video, we're diving into 4 rules. Not just financial advice, but real-life stories, lessons, and strategies to help you stay in control. Because after 70, every choice matters, and sometimes the biggest threats don't come from strangers. They come from routines, from silence, or even from people you love. Let's get into it. Let's talk about a different kind of risk. It is not always the bold scams or the big headlines that cause damage. Sometimes it is the quiet stuff. The subscription keeps renewing. The will you have not touched in decades. The family member who offers to help but forgets to be careful. These little things can cost you more than you think. Not just money, but independence, and once you lose control, getting it back is harder than you imagine. The danger of giving someone full control over your finances. Let's talk about something that happens far too often, and usually starts with the words, "Hey mom, it'd be easier if I just handled that for you," or, "Why don't we make it a joint account, just in case?" Now at first this sounds like love, it sounds like convenience, it sounds like the kind of help any good child or relative might offer, and for many older adults it feels like the right thing to do. Delegate, simplify, and make life easier. But here's the problem. When you give someone full access to your financial life, you're not just sharing responsibility, you're giving away control. Let me tell you about Gerald. He's 82, smart guy, worked in engineering his whole life. He wasn't too tech-savvy, so he asked his nephew to help him pay some bills online. Innocent enough. Gerald went ahead and added the nephew to his checking account to make it easier. He figured it was safe. After all, this was family. But over time, little things started happening. A few purchases here, a dinner there, a short-term loan to one of the nephew's friends. Nothing big, nothing alarming at first, but it added up. And when Gerald finally noticed, thousands of dollars had been withdrawn from the account. He went to the bank, thinking this had to be a mistake. They told him, "We're sorry, sir, this was a joint account." He had the right. That's the key point here. Once someone is added to your account legally, they have access, not shared responsibility, shared ownership. And if they make a bad decision, you're the one who pays the price. Now, this isn't always about greed. Sometimes it's stress, or poor judgment, or a loved one who genuinely thinks they're helping but ends up overstepping. And to be fair, many families navigate these situations with no issues at all. But that doesn't mean the risk isn't real. The deeper danger is when good people unintentionally create bad situations. You hand over control because it feels like the right thing, the trusting thing. But once control is gone, getting it back is nearly impossible. And think about the legal system. It often favors clarity over intention. If someone is on the account, the court will usually side with what's written on paper, not what you meant when you signed it. That's why so many older adults find themselves in legal messes they never saw coming. So what can you do instead? First, retain ownership of your accounts. If you need help managing your finances, talk to a legal professional about setting up a limited power of attorney. Limited is the key word here. It gives someone the ability to assist without giving them full access to everything you own. You can also consider setting up a revocable living trust. This allows you to outline exactly how your money should be managed if you become unable to handle it yourself. And, unlike a joint account, you're not giving someone else permission to start spending tomorrow. Another great tool? Account alerts. Many banks allow you to receive text or email updates every time money is moved. That way you can catch anything unusual right away. You can even assign a financial monitor, someone who doesn't have access to your account but can keep an eye out for red flags with your permission. Now maybe you're thinking, but I trust my son, I trust my daughter, they'd never do that to me. And that may be true, but trust and protection aren't mutually exclusive. Putting guardrails in place doesn't mean you don't love your family. It means you love them enough not to put them in a position where mistakes could cost you both dearly. Let's be real, none of us want to imagine a future where we're not in control. But aging with dignity means preparing for that possibility while you still can, not reacting to problems after they happen, but setting up systems now that protect your peace of mind. Boundaries are a form of love and wisdom. They protect relationships, not just finances. So here's your next step. Take a look at your accounts. Who has access? What can they do with that access? Talk to a trusted attorney about how to protect yourself with limited legal tools. Make a plan, write it down, and most importantly, have the conversation with your loved ones before a crisis forces it to happen. Because once you hand over your keys, financially speaking, it's a long, hard road to get them back. The lesson here is not about being suspicious, it's about being smart. Many seniors lose thousands every year, not because of strangers, but because of unclear boundaries with people they love. Set limits, document decisions, and trust with safeguards in place. That is how you stay in control without losing connection. The second, the silent drain of recurring expenses and outdated financial commitments. Let's talk about the quiet leaks. The ones that slowly drain your money without you even realizing it. You see, it is not always big scams or major expenses that put your retirement at risk. Often, it is the recurring charges, the subscriptions, the forgotten memberships, those little things that seem harmless but add up, month after month, year after year. Have you ever opened a credit card statement and thought, I don't even remember signing up for that? Well, you are not alone. This happens to more people than you might think. Take Sandra, for example. She is 76 and pretty sharp with her money, but one day, her daughter offered to go over her finances just to make sure everything looked okay. What they found was surprising. Sandra had been paying for 3 different identity protection services. She had 2 streaming platforms she never watched and a gym membership she had not used since before the pandemic. When they added it all up, it came to over $3,000 a year. Gone. And Sandra had no idea. Not because she was careless, but because it happened so gradually it felt invisible. Here is the thing. These kinds of expenses blend into the background. They hide in your auto-pay settings. They show up as friendly-looking emails that say, your subscription has renewed. And unless you are actively looking for them, they just keep going. Now, some people say it is only a few bucks a month, and sure, maybe that is true for one subscription, but multiply that by 5 or 6, and suddenly you are losing hundreds or thousands a year on things you are not even using. And let's be honest, no one loves calling customer service. No one gets excited about digging through account settings and figuring out how to cancel a plan. Sometimes it is just easier to let it slide, but that small convenience, it can cost you a lot more over time. This is not just about money. It is about what that money could be doing for you. Better groceries, a visit with your grandkids, repairs around the house, medication, peace of mind. When you think about it that way, every dollar starts to matter a whole lot more. So what can you do? Start with a financial spring cleaning. Just like you declutter your closet, declutter your bank accounts and credit cards. Print out your most recent statements. Look at every charge. Ask yourself 2 questions. Do I use this, and do I need this? If the answer to either is no, cancel it. If you are not sure what something is, look it up or ask someone you trust. There is no shame in needing help. What matters is taking action. There are even tools that can help. Apps like Rocket Money or Trim can scan your accounts and identify subscriptions you might want to cancel. You can use them to unsubscribe with just a few clicks. They are not perfect, but they make the process easier. Also, make it a habit. Once a year, maybe during tax season or your birthday month, do a quick review. Mark it on your calendar. Turn it into a routine. That way the clutter does not build up again. And here is something else to think about. Companies rely on you forgetting. They set up auto-renewals and make cancellations confusing on purpose. They are betting you will not notice. But you are smarter than that. You are paying attention now. Let this be a reminder that your money deserves just as much attention as anything else in your life. You worked hard for it, you sacrificed for it, and now it should be working for you, not slipping away on forgotten expenses. This small habit, reviewing and canceling outdated financial commitments, might seem like a chore, but it is an act of empowerment. It is you saying, I am in control, and that feeling, it is worth every minute. So here is your action step. This week, take 30 minutes. Go through your statements. Ask those 2 questions. Make some cancellations. Free up some space in your budget. Then do something meaningful with that money. Buy yourself something small you enjoy, or tuck it away for something that matters. You are not just saving money. You are taking back control, one charge at a time. People like Sandra are not rare. Studies show the average retiree wastes over $1,000 a year on services they do not use. That is money that could be feeding into savings, supporting family, or simply making life easier. Fixing it starts with just paying attention. The third, the importance of diversifying your income sources. Let's talk about income. More specifically, let's talk about what happens when all your money comes from just one place, because here is the truth. Relying on a single source of income in retirement is like walking a tightrope without a safety net. If something goes wrong, even just a little hiccup, your whole balance is thrown off. For a lot of people, that one source is Social Security, maybe a pension if you are lucky, but those checks? They often do not keep up with real-life costs. Food prices go up, rent goes up, medical bills, they never seem to go down. Now meet Frank. Frank is 74. He taught school for over 30 years and retired with a modest pension and Social Security. For a while, it worked. He lived simply, managed his bills, life was stable. But then inflation hit. Property taxes in his neighborhood skyrocketed. His wife's prescriptions got more expensive. Suddenly, what used to be enough each month was no longer cutting it. Frank could have panicked. Instead, he got creative. He looked around and asked, "What do I already have that could help me breathe a little easier?" Turns out, he had a garage that was mostly filled with old tools and a few dusty boxes. He cleared it out and rented it to a local artist who needed a quiet place to work. It was not a fortune, but it brought in a few $100s a month. Then, Frank remembered his coin collection. It had been sitting in drawers for decades. He looked up some prices online, listed a few items, and, to his surprise, made nearly $1,000 in a few weeks. Finally, Frank started teaching a couple of history classes at the community center, not a full-time job, just a few hours a week doing something he loved. He even made new friends along the way, and that is the power of diversified income. It is not about getting rich, it is about creating a little more breathing room. It is about peace of mind. When all your money comes from one place, you are at the mercy of that system. If there is a delay in your check, if benefits change, if your pension is cut, you have no backup. But when you have 2 or 3 small streams flowing in, you are more secure, more stable, more in control. Diversifying your income does not have to mean diving into stocks or starting a business. It just means using what you already have in smart, simple ways. Maybe you have a guest room you could list for short stays. Maybe you have a garden and can sell produce or flowers locally. Maybe you enjoy crafting, woodworking, or sewing. There is a market for that. You could even partner with family or neighbors to share resources and start something small together. Another option? Talk to a trusted financial advisor about safe investments. Some retirees benefit from low-risk dividend portfolios or structured annuities that provide steady, predictable income each month. The key is not size, it is consistency. Even $100 or $200 a month can make a real difference. It can cover groceries, medication, or that plane ticket to see your grandchildren. And here is something else that matters. It is not just financial, it is emotional. Having more than one income source gives you a feeling of control, of possibility. It reminds you that you are not just waiting for a check to arrive, you are taking action, you are building resilience. Too often we hear people say it is too late for me to start something new, but that is not true. You are never too old to make a smart move, and you do not need a degree in finance. You just need a little curiosity, a little guidance, and the willingness to try. Start by making a list. What do you already own? What do you already know how to do? What spaces, skills, or items are sitting idle that could be turned into a small income stream? You might be surprised by how much potential is already around you, so here is your next step. Choose one idea. Just one, something small and manageable. Explore it this week. Ask questions. Do a little research. Talk to someone you trust. It is not about adding stress. It is about gaining security, about building confidence, about creating options. Because when you have options, you have power, and you deserve to retire with power, not pressure. Remember, retirement is not the end of opportunity. It is the beginning of a chapter where you get to decide what matters most. A little income can go a long way, and a little effort today can lead to a lot more freedom tomorrow. 4. The hidden risks of outdated estate plans and beneficiary designations. Let's talk about something people often avoid: estate planning. I know it sounds like one of those things you deal with once, check it off the list, and never look at it again. But here is the truth. Estate plans are not just legal paperwork. They are reflections of your life, your relationships, and your values. And life changes, so should your documents. You may have created your will 20 years ago. Maybe you named an executor who has since passed away. Or maybe your kids were young at the time, and now they are adults with their own families. Maybe you even have an ex-spouse still listed as a beneficiary on your life insurance or retirement accounts because, well, you forgot. It happens more than you think. Take Harold, for instance. He is 81, a retired engineer. Back in his 60s, he set up a will. He thought he was being responsible and proactive, but he never updated it. His brother was named as executor, but he passed away 10 years ago. His life insurance listed a former girlfriend as the beneficiary, a person he had not seen in over 20 years. When Harold died, his children were shocked. They had to fight through probate court. And yes, that ex-girlfriend legally got the payout, not because Harold wanted that to happen, but because he never updated the forms. That is a hard lesson to learn after the fact, and unfortunately, it is a common one. Here is something many people do not realize. Beneficiary designations override your will. That means if your will says one thing, but your IRA or bank account has someone else listed as the beneficiary, the person on the form gets the money. No questions asked. It is not just about money either. It is about peace of mind, about making sure the people you love do not have to sort through confusion, legal fees, or family tension while grieving. Now, you might be thinking, I do not want to deal with all that paperwork again. I get it. It can be overwhelming. However, reviewing your estate plan does not have to be complicated. It starts with reading it. Just read it. Then ask yourself, does this still reflect my wishes? Are the people listed still the right people? Do I need to add anyone, like a new grandchild or a new spouse? Think about the assets you have now. Have they changed? Did you sell a property, open a new account, inherit something new? All of that affects how your estate should be handled. And if something feels off or outdated, talk to an estate attorney. Many offer a simple review service. It does not take long, and it can save your family months, sometimes years of stress down the road. Also, talk to your family. Let them know your wishes. Let them ask questions. Let them be part of the process. That way, when the time comes, they are not left guessing, or worse, fighting. Here is another tip. Make a checklist. Go through your will, your power of attorney documents, your healthcare directive, your bank accounts, and any insurance policies. Check who is listed. Check when it was last updated. Make notes. Keep it all in one folder, physical or digital, and tell someone you trust where it is. Because here is the thing. The point of estate planning is not to prepare for death. It is to protect your legacy. It is to make sure your values live on in the way you intended. When you take the time to keep your documents current, you are doing something deeply kind to the people you care about most. You are saving them from confusion, from conflict, from the pain of not knowing what you would have wanted, and that is a powerful gift. So here is your action step. Block out 1 hour this week, just one. Pull out your estate documents, read them over, look for anything that seems out of date or unclear. If something needs to change, write it down and call an attorney. If everything looks good, make a note of when you reviewed it. Then do it again next year. Simple, doable, and incredibly important, because protecting your money is only part of the picture. Protecting your legacy, that is the full story. Most people do not regret planning ahead, they regret not doing it sooner. Keep your documents alive just like your life keeps evolving. It is not just about legal protection, it is about emotional clarity and love that carries on. So let me ask you, after everything we've talked about, which rule stuck with you? Was it the story about giving away too much financial control? The one about the quiet little expenses that add up? Maybe it was the reminder to find extra sources of income, or the wake-up call to finally check your will. Whatever it was, pause here and think about it, because this is the moment that matters. This is not about fear, this is about power. The power to protect what you built, what you love, and who you are. You have spent decades working, providing, and supporting others. You have seen good times and hard ones. You have learned, you have adapted, and now, you get to decide how the next chapter looks. And the truth is, you are not powerless, you are prepared. Every tip, every lesson, every story in this video is meant to remind you of that. So ask yourself, what small change can I make today that gives me more peace tomorrow? Then take that step, even if it is tiny, because the small steps add up too. We have covered a lot today, and if you are still with me, that says something important. It means you care, you are thinking ahead, you are taking responsibility for your future. So let us take a breath and recap what we have learned. First, keep your financial control. Do not give it away, even to people you love, without safeguards. Next, stop the silent leaks in your spending. Little things add up. Then, think beyond one source of income. A little extra each month can go a long way. And finally, do not let outdated documents undo your good intentions. Keep them current, keep them clear. These may sound like small steps, but they add up to something powerful: security, peace, and freedom in your later years. You have earned the right to feel safe, to feel confident, to feel in charge. And remember, it is never too late to make a smart decision, never too late to take one step that protects everything you have worked for. If this video gave you something to think about, do not keep it to yourself. Leave a comment, tell me which part hit home or what step you are planning to take. If you found value here, tap that like button, subscribe to stay informed, and turn on notifications so you never miss an important update. And please share this with someone you care about. You never know who needs to hear this today. Thanks for watching, and take good care.